The Mariners choose profits over performance. The Seahawks need to perform to avoid a record losing streak. And the Storm have a small chance at the #1 overall pick. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show. I'm your host, Mikey. Let's just dive straight into some news. Those of you who listen to some of my other podcasts know I'm a mailman, and this time of year is super busy for me. So, I haven't been on the recording schedule that I would normally like. So, we got to catch up here and we got to move through it quick. So, we're going to dive straight into talking about the Mariners. All right, and our Seattle Mariners did not sign Shohei Ohtani. He has decided to go to the LA Dodgers. They were considered the favorite all along, but he is going there for 10 years, $700 million. And seeing those final numbers, you know there's no way the Mariners were even close. And that should make you even angrier that the reports were that the Mariners were out from the jump, that they heard the numbers, scoffed, and said, okay, yeah, we're out of this right from the beginning. Because yeah, $70 million a year sounds like a lot of money, right? And that makes it sound like, wow, that's going to add to the payroll to the Mariners a whole lot. Well, sure it would, but remember, even though this fan base shows up year after year, we're in the top 10 in attendance. We buy the tickets, we buy the merch, we watch them on TV, and that they're one of the top revenue teams. Even if they added $70 million a year to the payroll, they would still not be in the top 10 for payroll in Major League Baseball. Again, that to me, that just makes me so angry that now I understand if Shohei would want to go to LA, even if the Mariners offered him a matching offer of $70 million, because LA, the Dodgers are a better team. You're going to win there right now, especially with the moves that the Mariners have been making. You know, it's a much better roster. It just makes me angry that the reports are they were out from the beginning, never even had a chance. Because, like I said, I mean, if you offered the matching offer, you're not in the top 10 payroll still. And again, that just shows the Mariners are choosing profits over performance, because the other moves that have been made now since we last recorded, Jared Kelenic, Evan White, Marco Gonzalez, all traded to the Atlanta Braves, and we received right-handed pitcher Jackson Kowar and right-handed pitcher Cole Phillips. And the deal came together in a day. It was that easy of a move to make for the Mariners to say, hey, you know what? Remember how we told everybody in 2019 that we needed to rebuild? We needed to trade, we needed to make Kyle Seager mad and ruin that relationship. We needed to trade away Robinson Cano. We got to start over. We got to break this thing down and start all the way over, because the way this roster is constructed and with the way that the owner wants the payroll to be, we got to start down. We got to break it down, start over. Well, we're going to rebuild, and then in a few years, we'll be a competitive team. Well, who was the biggest piece of that? Jared Kelenic. He was the piece that you went out and targeted to start this rebuild. And just 4 years later, you're trading him so that you can dump the salary of Evan White and Marco Gonzalez. And we've already traded Eugenio Suarez, and so you're thinking, wow. And we didn't, make an offer to Teoscar Hernandez. So you're thinking, okay, well, that frees up a lot of money, right? They got all this money off the books, so at least Jerry DiPoto is going to be able to go out and make some moves. Well, unfortunately, that sounds like no. Again, they are putting profits over performance. Everybody by now has heard the news that RSN, they are, Comcast is making RSN part of the premium cable package. So it's going to add like $18 and something cents per month starting this fall. And the Mariners ownership is afraid that that is going to cause a lot of people to unsubscribe because of the cost. So I guess their thought process is, well, we need to drop payroll so that when all these people drop their subscription, because it's going to be more expensive to subscribe to the network that we own, we are going to drop payroll for the team so that our profits will remain the same. Let's just get rid of, there's like, out of the offer they didn't make to today, Oscar, the trading away Eugenio, trading away Evan White, Marco Gonzalez, Jared Kelenic, they've saved somewhere around like $35 or $40 million. And we're hearing that Jerry DiPoto's budget now, they are saying it's like $20 million. So we're not, at the beginning of this offseason, Jerry DiPoto mentioned how, like, hey, we're making moves so that way we can use this budget to go out and get players we need to make this team better. And it was only like 2 days later they talked to Jerry and said, things have changed. It's out of my hands, and I can only do what I can do. Scott Service basically said the same thing, saying like, hey, we have a good team, we have young talent, we're going to try to make this team better, but we can only do what we can do with the cards that we've been dealt. And the cards they've been dealt is ownership telling them, hey, we want to make sure our profits remain the same, even if people decide to leave Xfinity and not stay subscribed to the sports package. The way I would have gone about it is say, hey, we want to make sure that our fans want to stay with what we have, stay with our sports package, and continue to support this team. So we need to put the best product out there on the field that we possibly can. That way, they will feel more inclined to keep their subscription and continue to watch a team. I'm telling you right now, I can't even tell you how many streaming subscriptions my family has right now because I have 5 kids. Guess what? We have a lot of different things. And then me and my wife, myself, there's a lot of different shows that we like to watch. So we're subscribed to so many different things. I could easily drop one streaming subscription service that is probably like $15. I know we have a few of them that are that much. That I would say, hey, you know what? We only watch 1 or 2 shows on here anyway, so let's drop it. I want to make sure I keep the premium sports package that Xfinity has, so that I can watch all the Mariners, Kraken games. I want to make sure I keep that because it looks like they are, going to be a good team, and I don't want to miss anything. That's the way I would have gone about it, but no, they're saying no. These players are too expensive. And that budget we told you, Jerry, that you could have this year to make the team better. We're actually going to cut that in like half because we want to make sure our profits, for sure stay at a certain amount. So, as a fan, that makes me really angry that they're not even in on like the biggest free agent of all time. They didn't even make a try. And this was somebody who they say Otani, Seattle was his second choice this first time around when he came to America, and that it was more, he just didn't want to be in the shadow of Ichiro, and that's why he didn't choose Seattle. He wanted to, go out and make a name for himself and not, be compared. Well, he did that, and it would have been nice if he could have said, you know what, I'm not worried about that anymore. I obviously went out and made a name for myself. I don't have to worry about being somebody else's shadow. I can go there. But again, it sounds like the Mariners didn't even make a try, and it sounds like they're not going to make a try for anything else. I mean, look, Juan Soto was another one that I kept hearing people were hoping that we were going to trade for. Well, who's got money and has no problem trading prospects to make sure that they get somebody that's ready to go in the big leagues now? The Yankees. Of course, the Yankees went and got Juan Soto. And now, free agency, the offseason can truly begin because the 2 biggest names that were being talked about moving in the offseason have moved. There's a lot of names out there still, and I don't expect the Mariners to be in on any of them. And that's really disappointing because, the offseason should be the most exciting part for a fan of a team that just didn't make the playoffs, because you're supposed to have all this hope that, hey, there's all these free agents out there. These are the moves that my team can make to get better, to improve next year and make it. Because again, remember, we were 1 game away from the playoffs, 2 games away from winning the division. And so we should be feeling like, oh, our team is right there. We are just so close. We just need to improve a little bit, and we could be the team that wins the division next year. But instead, you're trading away your third baseman, your outfielder. You are piling up utility players. You have all these holes on the team that you have to fill now. So the Mariners are going to have to do so much just to get back to the point where they were with the moves that they made. So again, getting rid of 2 outfielders, I should say, both Kelenic and, not even making the offer to Teoscar. You have to fill both of those holes. You have to fill the third base hole. You have to do all. So you need you have to fill 3 positions that are at least good as what you had, just to get back to where you were. And if you want to get better, that means you have to add, at this point where the team stands right now, you have to add 4 or 5 bats to improve over where the team was last year. And what we're hearing about the budget and the comments that Jerry Dipoto and Scott Service have made about it, while not saying exactly what the budget is, obviously alluding to not getting what they thought they were going to have, that's going to be near impossible to do. I mean, the free agents that are out there that can help you, they're going to cost money, and it doesn't sound like ownership wants to spend any money. So that's where we are with the Mariners. Super disappointing. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. It's disappointing to be following this team right now. Let's go ahead and we can talk. We'll go from one losing team. Let's just go straight into another really struggling team right now, the Kraken. All right, and the Seattle Kraken, they have at least made a move to see what the future looks like by calling up Riker Evans, their top defensive prospect. Hasn't helped anything. Again, he's just a prospect that they are basically at this point now. It seems like they're testing out to see, okay, how good is Riker Evans going to be, so that we can see what we have in the future, because the present is going horrible. Since we last recorded, we have gone 5 losses in a row. We're in a middle of a homestand right now. It seems like they're going to lose all of them. And again, this team just continues to struggle to score goals, to take chances, to take shots, and then when they do, again, the defense isn't there. They are just getting run over when it's in transition. Yeah, and just doesn't look like a good team right now. This is another team where I guess the offseason, like I said, hockey's never been my biggest sport, so I'm just watching whatever they do in the offseason and not knowing the rest of the players around the league and going, okay, well, I hope that's moves a good thing. And then I guess the Kraken are basically where the Mariners are. The players that we let go to other teams this offseason, we definitely did not fill those holes. And the team is worse right now. I mean, maybe there's a chance statistically that the Kraken could still make the playoffs, but is there any kind of indication that they are going to improve and turn this thing around to get into the playoffs? I haven't seen any. It's just, I guess technically there's a couple teams behind us in the standings still, but it's just it doesn't seem like this team is giving any kind of sign that they're going to start scoring goals in any sort of regularity, or that they're going to stop teams from scoring goals with any regularity and actually put some wins together and get some more points in the standings. So it's not looking good for this team right now. And I mean, we're only 28 games into the season, so we're not even at the halfway point. We're just a little bit over a quarter of the way through the season. I mean, listen to this: a negative 24 point differential. That's not that's not a good sign. The Anaheim Ducks are below you in the standings, but even their point differential is negative 19, so they have a better point differential than you. So that kind of goes to show you that this Kraken team, they're not going to they don't have any kind of sign that's going to show you that they're going to score enough goals or stop the other teams from scoring goals to be able to put something together here. and make a run. I mean, I hope something changes and they start going on a run. Watching the games would be a whole lot more enjoyable if they did, but right now it is not look good. All right, so there you go. There's your Kraken. And let's just keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's go to another team struggling right now, and trying to avoid a record losing streak. And yes, I am talking about the Seattle Seahawks. They have lost 3 games in a row now. It is about to be 4 games in a row against the San Francisco 49ers if they cannot turn things around. And, we're talking a record number of losses in a row for Pete Carroll with his tenure with the Seahawks. So, what can they do to stop this? Well, it's going to be so hard to do. The 49ers are just playing at the top of their game right now, and the players that they have on that team are, near the top of their position. Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle. They're all near to the top of the league at their position. You're going to have to play tighter coverage. Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel, they are so hard to bring down once they have the ball in their hand. So you cannot allow them to catch the ball in space and be able to make moves. They will kill you with that. We did a pretty good job against them last time. We held them under 200 yards passing. So if we can do that again, then that would be great. But then the next thing is you have to stop Christian McCaffrey because he ran all over us last time. Yeah, I think he had like 114 yards himself. So you got to stop McCaffrey. They have a great offensive line, and McCaffrey just he's the best running back in the NFL. So they're going to have to take the correct angles to plug up holes. They're going to have to take correct angles to tackle and not miss tackles this time. They missed so many tackles against McCaffrey the last game. We remember, Rick Woolen got benched. They told us it was a shoulder injury, and that's why he wasn't tackling well. But either way, he was still missing tackles that he had wide open on McCaffrey to get him down and just whiffed him. We can't be having that against McCaffrey because he will murder you if you miss tackles and let him in the open field. All right? We need to get pressure on Brock Purdy. The guy is no good. We've seen it. If he misses even just one single weapon out of his arsenal, they go on a 3-game losing streak. If you can get pressure on him, it will mess up his timing. Okay, but you have to get pressure on him without blitzing him, because again, you don't want to let these receivers have open space once they catch the ball. So you don't want to be bringing, extra defensive backs down and blitzing them and leaving those spaces of the field open. And you don't want to let one of those receivers catch the ball in that part of the field and only have to beat one man, because they will beat one man and they will be off to the races for a touchdown. So you have to get pressure. This defensive line needs to step up. I know Nuoso went down this year, but Mafe is going to have to get pressure in this game. He's been excellent this year, but he's really going to have to get after it in this game. Leonard Williams, we traded that second round pick for him. We need him to continue to show up, and we need Draymond Jones, somebody who we targeted in free agency. We need him to step up and get pressure. That was what we brought him in here for, right? Was to be able to get pressure in the backfield, and he hasn't done it as much this year as you would like, especially considering the amount that they paid him. That means that they were expecting a certain level of production, and that level hasn't been there. So we need him to live up to that level. And then it's going to call for big games out of linebackers. I mean, we need Bobby Wagner to step up and be able to make sure that he is covering in the middle of the field. Zone coverage. You're in man coverage while that man is in your zone. Bobby can't be playing so far off at the beginning of the coverage that they are just easily completing passes in the middle of the field and getting those little chunk yards. Because again, we've seen with this 49ers, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, you let them get it with open space, they're going to make moves and they're going to make people miss. So you got to play tighter coverage. I still believe in this team. I believe we have the talent to get into the playoffs, but we're going to need this win. Right now, we are sitting outside the playoffs. After the game last week, later on that weekend, the Packers and the Rams both went on to win, and that pushed us out of the playoffs at the moment. So we need to win. You could still say this is not a must-win game, but this one sure would. Again, it'd be another one that would help your hopes in this team that they're going to make the playoffs. And you would think that getting a win over the 49ers, a team that is playing exceptional this year, that would really boost the confidence of this Seahawks team to go on in the future. Unfortunately, I'm really not liking our chances. Here I am Sunday morning recording this before the game, which is to be later this afternoon, but there's now news coming out that it's looking more and more like Geno Smith is not going to play, which means we're going to have Drew Lock in there. Oh boy. I hope Drew can get this done. And I'm hoping that means Shane Waldron sees, hey, I have the backup quarterback in there. That means I need to make this game plan even more simple for him, which should mean giving him more options. When dropping back to pass, don't just give him, one option of the receiver that is streaking down the sideline or is running an out route. Get him some options in the middle of the field that he can dump it off to, because again, he is your backup quarterback. He's not going to have as much experience, right? Even if we think he might be a skilled player, he doesn't have the reps right now. Give him options over the middle of the field, please, Shane Waldron, so that if something isn't open on the sideline or down the field, he can dump it off to somebody, to our weapons, JSN. It sounds like K9 and Charbonnet are looking like they will play today. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. We got plenty of weapons who can do the same thing that the 49ers players do. We have lots of weapons who you get the ball in their hands and they can be dynamic in the open field and make players miss. So please, please, please give Drew Lock options in the middle of the field. Or if Geno Smith it does end up playing, please make sure he does have those options and can take advantage of it. All right, so that's your Seahawks. We're all hoping that they can get a win today and get back on the right track because again I've been hearing people talk about, oh well, at this point they should just tank. Right now they'd have the number 16th pick. If they tanked the rest of the way and everybody else just kept the same pace that they're on, we're still only going to end up with like the 11th, 12th, or 13th pick. So it's not going to get you that much better of a pick. No point in trying to tank this season because you're talking about a couple of spots difference, which when you're in the middle of the draft isn't going to make that big of a difference. All right, so there you go. There's your Seahawks. I guess right now I'll make a prediction. It is a division game. We are away, but again, I still believe in this team. I think as long as we can hold McCaffrey to a lower number than we did last time, hold him under 100 yards, this game could be a whole lot tighter, and we'd have a real good chance of beating them. So I'm going to predict we win this game 24-21. Again, it's 49ers, great division rival that we have. It is, as long as we play good, it'll be close. All right, and there you go. There is your Seahawks. Who else are we going to talk about? Let's talk about the Storm. The Storm got some big things going on today. All right, and a storm is a brewing. The WNBA draft lottery is today. It's going to be, I believe, 1:30 Pacific time. So, we're going to be watching the Seahawks game during that time. I wish the WNBA would have thought about the day and time that they were doing the draft lottery. Why on a Sunday afternoon in the middle of the NFL season? I don't know why, but that's the way they have chosen to do it. But the Storm, we know that they were a lottery team this year. Again, remember it combines the last 2 years records. So with the 2 years combined, we have out of the 4 teams, we have the 4th lowest chance to get the number 1 overall pick. We have just a 10.4% chance to get that number 1 overall pick, but there's a chance. So, make sure you at least, if you're not tuning into that, keep your notifications on social media so that you know what pick we end up with. We can only end up with 1, 2, or 4. We cannot get number 3. The way the WNBA lottery works. Okay, so we can either get drawn number 1 or number 2. And if we don't get either of those, the number 3 and 4 pick, they're going to put them in order based off of their last 2 years of records. And no matter what, because whatever other combination of teams end up with us, we would have the better record than them, so we would end up with the number 4 overall pick. So we really got to hope that the balls bounce our way and we get that number 1 or number 2 pick, so that we don't automatically just go, oh, okay, well, I guess that means we're number 4. So here we go. Let's go, Storm. Everybody, make a wish and keep your fingers crossed and do whatever superstitious thing you need to do to make sure that we have the best luck with the lottery pick and get the number 1 overall pick. Would love to see Caitlin Clark in a Seattle Storm uniform. Okay, so there you go. There's the Seattle Storm. Let's go ahead and talk about let's talk about the OL reign. Okay, and with the OL Reign, news about them is that the Sounders are closer to completing a purchase of the Reign. There's, some are saying that the deal could be done by the end of December, and then the Reign would have a new ownership group. And we would all celebrate that our soccer teams are owned by groups here in Seattle. And I'm not really sure how that is going to affect the team, but we will keep track of it and see what's done to help this roster improve. I mean, right now we're in the off season. They have, been re-signing and extending players' contracts on the team, and if they make any big off-season moves to add to this team, we will definitely bring that news to you if or when that happens. Okay, and that's really all the Reign news that we have right now. So let's go ahead and we'll transition into the team that is buying the Reign now, the Sounders. All right, and with the Sounders, they are in their offseason currently, and they have extended Stephen Fry, their goalie. So that's good to see. Great goalie in my eyes. So good to see him extended. And then other big news is that Pedro de la Vega is coming to Seattle from Argentina. The 22-year-old, once considered one of the best prospects coming out of Argentina, looking like he's probably going to be on their Olympic team because he's that good. It's sounding more and more like he is going to be coming to the Sounders. So, with the Sounders needing to fill some big shoes, now it's great to hear that there's a plan to bring somebody in to make that happen. We got Nicholas Ladero leaving, but if you're telling me that we're bringing in another big name to fill that spot, that sure does sound great, doesn't it? You wish your other teams, you wish your baseball team, I will say specifically, would do something like that. So we should be excited for what the Sounders have coming for us next year. Again, this is a team just made the playoffs, and it's looking like they are making the moves to make sure that they can make the playoffs again next year and be a championship contender next year. They are not just sitting on their laurels, and they are not going to go out and just spend players. I mean, at one point, this Pedro de la Vega, if you don't know, again, he was one of the biggest prospects in Argentina. Tore his ACL a couple of years ago. This last year was his first full year back, and played really good. They were saying at one point, they were thinking this guy was going to get $10 million a year somewhere. Maybe he's not going to cost that much now because of the injury, but either way, he's going to be a big ticket item. So you're glad that your Sounders are willing to go out and go after a big ticket, big name player to help the team. So very excited for the Sounders and what we have in the future with them. All right, and the Sea Dragons, the XFL players are starting to they're starting to sign letters of intent to come to the XFL. So when we have a better idea of what the Sea Dragons roster is going to look like, we'll go over that more. I'm excited for Spring football. I love spring football. I wish football was year round. Sure, you have NFL, that is a certain season, and I love that we have another professional football league to follow in the spring. So when we see what this Seattle Dragons, Sea Dragons roster is going to look like, we'll go over it in depth and see how we think this team is going to be this next year. All right, and really, that's it. That is gonna be the episode for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know, Mariners fans, how are you feeling? You know, uh, I mean, I was the kind of guy that was, you know, I am the kind of guy that has hope in the off season all the way until the off season is over. Most of the time this year, I'm just not feeling that way now. I hope at this point, because I'm usually not this disappointed this early in the off season. I hope something turns around and then I'm pleasantly surprised. But I'm just not feeling that way right now. Let me know how you're feeling about the Mariners offseason so far, and if you are still hopeful that they're going to put something together going forward in the rest of this offseason. Seahawks fans, give me your predictions against the 49ers. And again, Sounders fans, keep those fingers crossed. Let's hope we get that #1 overall pick. All right. That's the episode. So thanks for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken and breathe fire. So take cover, because with a sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.